money pooling, cryptocurrency, community-powered investment clubs, digital wallets, and borderless commerce. Oh my gosh, our guest is all about serving the diaspora, and you're going to love his startup stories, mission, and vision. Stay tuned for the Startup Life Live Show. Let's glow, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Startup Life Live Show. I'm your host, Ande, Lyons, 4 times founder and startup champion to founders around the world. And after raising 4 businesses of my own, I'm talking VC-backed, angel-backed, and charming personality-backed businesses, I have a pretty clear idea of what you all are crawling through every single day. The navigating the murky waters of startup life and your founder journey and the roller coaster ride. So I am deeply grateful that you tuned in to the show, to the replay, to the podcast to up your founder game, because as you do better, your business will do better. And, I understand that it can be so challenging. And sometimes when you hear other founder stories, you go, oh, phew, it's not just me, right? So a big yoo-hoo to all the live viewers tuning in today, and a hearty welcome to the replay viewers and the podcast listeners. I know you're going to get so much value from this conversation with our amazing guest. But before I introduce him, let me share some housekeeping with you. First of all, if you're tuning in from YouTube and you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you haven't joined the meetup group, this is a great idea, because this way you will get a deep dive into who the guests are. And I post twice a week, and you'll get all the scoop on all the delicious founders who are sharing their founder story and founder journey and startup stories on the show. So be sure to scan that QR code or click on that link. All the links are in the show notes. Okay, so thank you. And by subscribing to the YouTube channel, I just want to say it helps us reach more founders around the world and give them the information they need to succeed. So thank you. So here's some Ande-licious announcements for you. As you know, I always start off with, please hop on over to Arlen's Academy, because she is always uploading new information. It is free. And you know how she is deeply committed to making sure you succeed as a startup founder. So hop on over to there. Also, Thinkific is having a terrific event called Think in Color, and they're increasing awareness of their remarkable program, because you see they love to help folks start and scale their businesses. And they've got a great event on July 27th. The registration is free. Links are in the show notes, so be sure to check that out. And Scroobius is having a really fun Black Founders Demo Day. So hop on over to blackfoundersdemoday.com and learn more about that. You never know who's going to tune in and hear you pitch, right? You got to show up to get the results that you're looking for. And I don't know if you know about the wonderful folks at BGV, but they love to help you take your business to another level as well. And this is a phenomenal group. BGV is Black Girl Ventures, and they fund and scale tech-enabled revenue-generating businesses. And they're taking applications for their fall 2022 pitch event. And they specifically love teaching women to pitch, and they help you develop the best deck for your investor search. I'm always saying investor search, because it's important that you find an aligned investor for your business. Don't ever forget that. All right. It's about what's right for you and your business. And another great event from a favorite local here in Boston, they have this great opportunity. It's Visible Hands, and they have teamed up with Google for Startups to create VHLX, a fellowship dedicated to helping and empowering Latinx founders to grow their startups. It's a 20-week virtual first fellowship offering founders $10K in non-dilutive funding. How great is that? Just so you can have the time to focus, plus the opportunity for additional investments. So check out that wonderful opportunity. And speaking of Scroobius, this is an incredible team who's ready to help you soar with your video pitch. and they will take you to the next level as well. So visit scroobius.com for more details. Yay! How's everybody doing today? Hi, Brent Manuel from Canada, our diverse viewer and devoted fan. And I always feel your love, Brent. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I think I think the echo is just the background in Ikechi's there. So not to worry, but thanks for that heads up. And yes, we'll drop the StreamYard link. Okay, so I'm going to tell Ruth, folks on YouTube would love the StreamYard link to join the stream. You're on the stream, actually. Okay, so right now, this is how we groove and move. I'm not going to bring you in behind here, but thank you so much for joining us. Yes, it's live. Hey, Jose, I'm so happy that you're here and delighted to meet you too. Let's get connected on LinkedIn. And yay, I think that's Ansela Ramsey. So happy you're here. This is a phenomenal founder that we're going to hear from today. So let me just go ahead and do a quick, very brief intro of the so amazing Ikechi Nwabuisi. I got this popped up there. All right. So now, streaming live, we get to go with the flow all the time. It's wonderful. So Ikechi Nwabuisi, this is a former VC, a wealth manager, and an ex-NFL player who has over 5 years experience building social apps and has been focused on blockchain since 2015. And in 2018, he founded TRiBL. You see it right there in his shirt. Oh my gosh, an all-in-one social money pooling platform providing a social wallet that allows communities to build wealth together. Come on, it has to be all about building generational wealth. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to have him come into the room and have you meet him. Let's get him into the show. Hey, Ikechi, welcome to the Startup Life Live Show. Get the clappers out.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. And where are you living right now? Where are you tuning in from today?
Currently, I'm in Atlanta.
Great.
I will be going nomad here in the next couple months, but as of right now, I still live in Atlanta.
Oh, that's great. And do you have people in the background?
Yeah.
Is that what we're hearing? Hey,
Yeah.
Folks, this is live. We're still going to get the scoop and the goods from Ikechi because he's been on an extraordinary journey. And I know the little bit of the echo can be distracting, but we're going to make it work today. No problemo. As you can see, we've got some wonderful folks saying hi. And yay, Richard. He's very excited to hear about the leading edge platform, TRiBL. And, to me, I love to find out right away, Ikechi, how someone lands as an entrepreneur. You already were grooving in some really wonderful career moments in your life. And, it just amazes me that some people feel called to leave a guaranteed paycheck behind and go off into the mysterious world of entrepreneurship. So what was it that called you or were you one of those people in third grade that was hustling product, or do you have parents that were in entrepreneurship, or was this completely new territory for you?
So I was blessed and lucky enough to have entrepreneurs as parents.
Oh my gosh. Yay, mom and dad.
So I definitely remember when I went to my parents and I told them, I think I'm going to quit Merrill Lynch and focus on becoming an entrepreneur in tech. My mom's first reaction was like, I was wondering what's taking you so long. And so entrepreneurship is definitely in my genetics. I don't know what I would do without it. I'm not the most productive person in the corporate environment, so it's a great fit for me.
Right, exactly. Oh, I'm so glad they had role models for you, so they cheered you on. I mean, I hear stories like, what do you mean? You got an offer from Google.
Yeah.
Why aren't you taking that? Come on. And they're like, nope, got to go start my business.
Yeah, it's been a crazy life. I actually, the week that we got into Techstars, literally the day before I got into Techstars, I got an offer from LinkedIn for a good chunk of money to move to the Bay and go work at LinkedIn. Spent the next 48 hours talking to all my mentors and family members, trying to figure out what to do, and ultimately stuck to the entrepreneurship journey.
Oh my gosh, I can't see that. I feel like that's the universe testing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying, okay, we're going to make sure you're really committed to this because we got a really sweet offer over here.
Mhm.
And, but, you were smart to get counsel from folks and see if it
Yeah.
was a good fit. I personally am just unemployable. So, I often introduce myself. Hello, my name is Ande. I've been unemployable since 1992.
Uh,
Because, I get a job, I get fired. It's just how it is for me.
yeah, I think I'm primarily unemployable as well, unless it's like working for a startup that I was also passionate about. I can work with great leaders, building new things. But getting into that systematic kind of corporate environment, just I'm not going to last.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm right there with you. And
Mhm.
you know what? A good HR person is going to go, see this?
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what?
seriously,
We don't
seriously.
want that. So, TriBL is such a great name and a great vision that you have. We'd like to talk about and get going, start off and talking about, the founder market fit, right? What's the why behind what you're doing and
Yeah.
have you explored this? Now, everybody knows I have never had a founder market fit in all of my businesses, but most people do.
Mhm.
How did your lived experience talk a
Yeah.
little bit about your background and how you think it prepared you, other than your wonderful parents, to launch TRiBL? And then we'll talk about how you figured out the name and all the goodies behind it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So high level, Tribe is a social money pooling platform for diaspora. We like to think of ourselves like a social hedge fund. And the initial inspiration for building TRiBL was the story of Black Wall Street,
Yeah.
and
And
came
talk a
across.
little bit about that in case somebody has been living under a rock and hasn't heard about it over especially the last 3 years, because I know plenty of Black people who didn't know about Black Wall Street either. It was just kept a
Yeah,
hidden secret for so long.
yeah, for sure. I mean, my parents are Nigerian, so I also didn't know about Black Wall Street until I was done with college. Like I'd wrapped up 2 degrees at Northwestern. I think it was 2014, and I started learning about Black Wall Street. And ultimately, Black Wall Street during the early 1920s, when segregation was still alive, there were towns or communities popping up around the U.S. That were really starting to build true wealth within Black communities. One of the most famous of which was actually in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And unfortunately, it ended up getting bombed and burned down by the government with the assistance of the KKK. And ultimately a story of ultimately disenfranchising, um, dealing with institutional racism, and violence
Absolutely.
within our communities that fragmented our groups and ultimately deteriorated our ability to build wealth.
Yeah.
And so after I learned about that story, I became obsessed with the idea of building like a digital Black Wall Street. Except being Nigerian, when I thought about the Black community, I thought about us as a global diaspora,
Right.
and want to use technology to connect our communities worldwide. So fast forward some years, I quit Merrill Lynch before I got fired.
Good for you.
Ended up going to business school at UT McCombs. Took an international trip out to China where I came across WeChat. Um, and for me, when I saw WeChat, it was like looking at Chinatown at scale. And I thought WeChat was showcasing that the future of finance was social. And integrating a digital wallet would be very important to that social experience. And ultimately thought we could build something similar. And so when you look at what we've built today, again, we built this social multi-sig wallet, which enables investor clubs or syndicates to pool their money, have their own group chat and governance all in one place.
I have to tell you, Ketchy, the minute you said how you saw WeChat in action
Yeah.
and you saw the diaspora there, I
Hmm.
got goosebumps all over my body.
Yeah.
Seriously. I saw how
Yeah.
that came together in your head. I felt it, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was a thing. It was like a magic moment. And I came back to the States, it was probably like 2016, 2017. Like, this is what we're gonna go build. So
Now,
we've been on that
that's a
journey
big,
ever since.
hairy, audacious idea.
Yeah,
Seriously,
yeah.
because you're dealing with things that, having been at Merrill Lynch, right?
Hmm.
They're studying blockchain, they're studying
Hmm.
cryptocurrency, but this, and from working at a deep financial
Yeah,
institution like
yeah,
Merrill Lynch, the walls and the firewalls and the this and that
yeah.
are huge. How were you able to see cryptocurrency as part of your digital wallet that would help remove the borders for doing that level of community investing and money
Yeah,
pooling.
for sure. I think a big piece of that is just influence again by like being Nigerian, and seeing family members, friends, etc., deal with the friction of sending money back home,
Yeah.
whether to support family and friends or to invest in infrastructure. And I thought one of the big ways to build wealth for us as a Black community and as a diaspora was actually going to be for us to pool our capital and begin buying land and building infrastructure in emerging markets like Nigeria or like Brazil, etc. And crypto, I think at the time it was like Ripple and Stellar, were presenting really unique use cases around cross-border payments. And so I thought, basically building a WeChat with crypto rails was the way to really make that cross-border experience the most frictionless.
I love that with Rails. That's
Yeah,
a beautiful image. And, living in Boston, being part of the startup ecosystem
yeah,
for over a decade here and longer, of course, but going to the different pitch events, seeing what's going on, a lot of folks from Africa who live in the US now and live in our community here had come up with ways of making more frictionless, um, borderless ways of folks pooling money, sending money, etc. But I had not, nobody had gone into the cryptocurrency yet.
yeah, for sure.
And of course, folks, if you've been following the Ukraine war, you can see a lot has been sent to Ukraine using cryptocurrency because
Yeah.
there's no friction there. Talk about what is in the way if you're not using something like cryptocurrency.
Talk about what is
Oh,
in.
what's in the way? So like when you use other forms, you're going to run into fees, you're going to run into
Yeah,
walls that will keep you, from sending money. Yeah, there's just so many different regulations in banking, et cetera, that make it very difficult to move money about the planet, so to speak.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, historically, if you look at fees, whether you're using Western Union or other cross-border payment businesses,
Yeah.
traditionally, whenever you're sending money to Black and Brown countries, the fees are always the highest, due to risk.
Yeah.
So, if you're trying to send money home to, places like Nigeria, a lot of time you might spend more money on the fee than what you're sending home.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
becomes really hard. So how does
Uh,
cryptocurrency work then?
yeah, for sure. So it's interesting you brought up the Ukraine situation. We actually started a pool to support Africans in Ukraine. And ultimately, people were able to contribute dollars or USDC to our pool. And then we were able to send the money from our crypto wallet to a crypto wallet of someone who was actually in that region so that they could then disperse the funds very easily. And the fee was little to none.
Oh my gosh, that's
And that's the
wonderful.
key. Yeah.
So can you walk us through how that works, Ikechi? Because you're talking your crypto wallet, everybody pulled the money in, we sent it to Ukraine. I have kind of a bird's eye view of how it all
Yeah.
works, but let's say I am that person in Nigeria
Yep.
and you have pulled some money and we've pulled some money together. We want to pull some out to help whatever cause or whatever initiative that's happening.
Yep.
How do folks deploy that cryptocurrency and why does that work so well?
Yeah, for sure. Well, in the cryptocurrency world today, you know, there's primarily two core type wallets that people are using. There are centralized wallets. This could be a Coinbase,
Hmm.
Binance, TRiBL, or there are decentralized wallets, MetaMask, various other wallets sitting on other blockchains.
Yep.
And you're able to then typically buy crypto via some sort of centralized wallet, send it to a decentralized wallet, and people can create a decentralized wallet anywhere in the world without having to connect it to their bank. They're able to just uh, do peer-to-peer payments with crypto at any time with very small fees typically associated with it.
Yeah. I love that. And so, for those of us who, again, on the sidelines, on the crypto world, we hear stories, people buying into crypto, losing money, coins being valued at such and such, a lot of pyramid scheme type of ways. Crypto is for real, folks. Okay. So, when someone opens up the digital wallet in Nigeria or Nairobi, and they're ready to put it to use, or Ukraine, they pay someone with this or buy goods and services with the
Yeah.
cryptocurrency, correct?
Yeah, I think one of the big things that everyone's trying to push in crypto is like additional utility.
Yeah.
So, initially, I think when crypto started to get popular, people were primarily just holding on to their Bitcoin or
Right.
their Ethereum. And now we are getting more and more utility around what you can now do with that crypto, whether, with Ethereum now you can use it to purchase NFTs. I'm not a Dogecoin guy. I wouldn't advise anyone to be a Dogecoin guy, right? But,
Right.
you know, different
But
stadiums have started taking Dogecoin. I can't remember if it was like the Mavericks and Mark Cuban started accepting Dogecoin payments. And so,
well,
we want to get to a place where ultimately you can use your Bitcoin to buy a house and continue driving utility around that type of experience.
right. I'm just going to say a quick thank you, Angela. That was a great, yeah, you're unemployable too. I'm just going to say yay for us, right? And please be sure to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I also want to say hi to Ruth. Hey, Ruth, my wonderful community manager. She is the one who helps the Startup Life Live folks feel welcomed, and she's here to answer any questions and encourage you to participate. All the live viewers, be sure to connect with Ruth on LinkedIn. She is outstanding, and she's from the beautiful city of Nairobi in Kenya. And Richard O's got a great question here. He's asking, how much time does a transaction take end to end?
Yeah, great question. That is the other piece of the sending money with Western Union. At times that can take days, maybe even up to a week, depending on where you're sending. Whereas with crypto, this can take seconds, minutes. It actually depends on the blockchain. I think today Ripple um, might have the fastest transactions
Yeah,
from in terms of like the big blockchains.
sure.
Um, but ultimately, it varies according to blockchain, but fairly
Right.
quickly.
Well, I wanted to dive into this, folks, first, just to just make sure we're all on the same page. We
Yep.
understand the digital wallet, and Richard asked such a great question around how long does the transaction take? You can see the seamlessness of it and the frictionless of it, which is so important when you
Yeah.
want to pool money for investing, because we can do so much more together as a group than we
Yeah.
can individually. We've got to get
Yeah.
off that individuality thing that we're on here in the US, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but let's talk a little bit about taking this vision, this big, hairy, audacious idea, in my humble opinion, and
Yeah.
saying, okay, I'm going to give this legs. I am going to
Yeah.
implement this into a reality. So, one of the things that you did is you applied to Techstars. Why did you do that?
Well, let me first say, ambition is my gift and curse.
Hold on. Hold on, everybody. I love that something fierce. You know what's coming up. That's a stitch
Seriously,
that on a pillow moment, 100%. My ambition is my gift and my curse.
for sure, no doubt about it.
Talk about that, please. That's so good.
But especially being young, you see something like WeChat. Not only did it take a lot of money to build, but in their unique situation, government had a lot to do with their implementation, ultimately success and scale. But regardless, I think I'm a builder first. First, the builder of community. Um, I very much so, invest deeply into my relationships, and I had a vision. And so I came back to the States and started going on the path I think most first time founders get into, or like, how do I build a product? You go to dev firms, and typically dev firms are going to say, hey, we'll charge you 20K a month to start building your app. And it's like, that's not really affordable or a reality for me. So we actually started building apps for other Black and brown people and taking that money and reinvesting it into our product. Um, as we did so, we kind of get like these first iterations of it that were extremely clunky, but they worked, right? Like people came on, people would use it. Initially it was really built around the community piece. We hadn't integrated the payment side yet, so it was really just group messaging. But people were excited to like come into a space where they could interact with diaspora. And we applied to Techstars because we really wanted to take it to the next level, and we needed funding to do so. And so when I ended up getting into Techstars, I relocated to Seattle.
Did you get in the first time you applied?
Hell no. Like, hopefully, cussing is not horrible here, but I certainly did not get into Techstars the first time there.
I bring that up, folks, because people think, oh, I got into Techstars. It's really hard. They really screen you.
Yeah.
And it does take, like some of the reality shows 2 or 3 times to make it on, right?
Yeah, I can't remember how many times I applied to Techstars, but like I probably applied to like most of the locations. And I think we finally got locked in because Techstars Seattle had experience with cross-border payments due to a startup that went through there called Remitly. Remitly. Yeah, so Remitly had turned into a unicorn. They were a $1 billion company.
Beautiful.
And so they understand that cross-border payments piece of our business model, and we got in.
Oh, hooray for that, because that means it's an aligned Techstar experience. And that's what they are very good at. They want to make sure that they can really help you grow and scale. That's what they're all about. And folks, you remember when we had Ahmad from Narrator.ai on the show. I mean, he was told so many times by the people interviewing him in the VCs, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, 1,000%. In 2019, we were telling people that Visa was going to partner with us, and people thought we were insane.
Yeah.
I was like going through Techstars meetings, and they were like, "What are you talking about, kid?" So to founders and entrepreneurs out there, like, really got to understand, like, your business, your product better than anybody else. Don't become deterred by some of the responses that you get from investors and mentors.
That's
Digest all the information that you're getting and just continue to build.
Excellent founder journey advice right there from Ikechi. And I'm just going to answer a quick question here from the oh so wonderful Brent. He's always asking for his, excuse me, disabled community. How accessible is the platform for folks who might not be able to see, hear, neurodiverse, all the disability? And I don't know if that's something you're talking about or thinking about in your community aspect, but I wanted to bring that out.
Brent, appreciate that question. That's actually a really, really interesting question. And being honest, I haven't put a ton of thought into that as of today. Our platform is live on the App Store. It's on the iOS and Android store, so you can download it now. There's some pretty cool pools up and running. You can get involved into our NFT collectors pool, $100 a month. We're actually about to launch a pool to go buy a doodles if you're into NFTs. One of the cooler NFT blue chip projects.
That's great. Well,
it's not super accessible for disabled folks, I would probably say.
Yeah. But you've planted the seed, Brent, and that's what's important, because now it's going to be on Ikechi's radar. One of the things when you were describing sharing your vision with folks initially, and as you were building the apps, and I just have to say, I just love that you said, okay, I can't afford that, so we're going to figure out how to do it ourselves, because then you know how to ask better questions, right? As you get further along. So that's so important. But what you did, I think that was even more important, is that you built community around your product before you launched. And folks, this is why you see the crowdfunding campaigns, not the Rec C, but the crowdfunding campaigns that happen. It's to build community, to build awareness, get people excited about what you're doing. And so I love that you did that. And I encourage any, side hustling, newbie, first-time founders, consider who your community is and how many people can you bring in to join you. You can even be doing TikToks and IG Reels, et cetera, to share your journey. Or as we like to say, building in public. You can get on Twitch and you can just say, well, we're building this app or we're building that. So, and Another great question from Richard O, because NFTs have been thrown around for the last 18 months to 2 years by folks. And he's asking, what is an NFT? Is it an investment tool?
Yeah, for sure. And before I even jump into that question, like reiterating your note, like a product is like a living, breathing, organism. And products are the, I guess not trying to reuse the word, but products are the product of community and team.
Yeah.
So depending on the people that you have around you, the experiences that you have, the knowledge of the people around you in your community, like all those things ultimately get built into our product.
Yeah.
And TRiBL would not be where it is without the community that we built, the people that we worked with, and the experiences and conversations I've had over the last 5 years.
Right. I mean, this is how you prove your MVP, folks, is that the community starts saying yes, no. Would I slap a credit card down for that? Would I, and that really helps you define that. And I have to say, diaspora is a pretty broad term. And when you
Yeah.
do launch an MVP, you need to be a little narrow, right, with your
Yep.
customer segment. How did you figure that out? And then we'll get to answer a couple more questions.
Yeah, for sure. Well, language and communication are much more complicated than I think our society uh, puts on it.
Yeah.
So, a word means a different thing to different people. And diaspora, especially at the time, was not something that was easily understandable by the people that we thought were our customers. And
Right.
so we had to be very diligent around like learning our different audiences and learning the ethnic identifiers that they like to go by so that we could create content and or messaging to align to
Right.
make them feel welcome into what we are building. And so, while we talk about us as like we built something for the diaspora in a different room, I'd say it's for Black and brown people, it's for immigrants, it's just kind of depends on the audience that we're talking to at the time.
Great.
And ultimately, we are trying to reconnect people of culture. That's
Yes.
the biggest emphasis for us. It's like this is a cultural platform, and there is a culture of money that we are trying to capture within.
Excellent. And so that was the language and you're able to use. So I love that because it
Yeah,
keeps you on purpose. It's about your mission and vision and the people that you're serving.
yeah,
So beautiful. Richard, we're back to you. What is
yeah.
an NFT? Is it an investment tool?
Yeah, so NFTs, the most popular version of NFTs today are what people are calling digital art. Um, in a simpler way, like these are JPEGs on the new internet. Again,
An
there are
NFT, folks, is non-fungible token, right?
yes, correct. So NFT stands for non-fungible token. Non-fungible means that it's unique, it can't be copied. It lives on the blockchain, and it's a storage of some sort of value, right?
And
Um,
like anything, the community decides what the value is, right?
yep, exactly. And so NFTs became all the rave last year,
Yeah,
kind
they
of took
did.
off in 2021. Uh, Y'all probably heard about crypto punks. You probably heard about Bored Apes, especially. I
Yep.
can't speak a ton on that because I'm not the biggest fan per se, but there's a lot of NFT projects out there, and again, like people are collecting it as digital art. You think
Right.
about trading cards, Pokemon cards, things like that. Like NFTs are kind of in that lane, except there's actual technology behind it, which is the blockchain, which is the IP, and ultimately the storage of data and value.
Yeah, I love that. And Richard has known me for years, and I've been live streaming since 2013 when I had a different business called Bring Back Desire. So,
Mhm.
Richard, I was thinking of taking the artwork from Bring Back Desire and turning it into NFTs because it's really fun artwork. So,
Interesting.
that's what some people can do, right? They can take their artwork, create it, see if the value is out there. I mean, you don't know until you put it out there, right?
Yep. For
Catchy.
sure. For
There you
sure.
go.
Exactly. And I think the key before you put out any NFT project, again, like a product, first you have to build community.
That's
And
right.
so one of the great things for TRiBL was the emergence of Web3, NFT, blockchain technology, because the emphasis now has really started to go around building community, building culture, and then letting that community and culture dictate the value of whatever the product or the arts that you have now created is.
That's right. I love that. And I mean, I know many women who have incredible African clothing companies.
Yeah.
They're putting out amazing colors and artwork around it.
Yeah.
And we also have a great person in our community here, um, Jeremy Quant, who has Dot Red, which is a platform that allows you to go visit art galleries virtually. There's so
Mhm.
many things that one could do in that as well. So I love this question, Jose. Thank you. Have you tried to use your platform with somebody from South America?
Hey, Jose, love the question. And as of today, we do not have any active wallets in South America. But if you're down there, we would love for you to test activating your wallet because you should be able to.
Jose is amazing. So he'd be a great connection. Jose, please, please, please connect up with Ikechi, okay? And I know Ruth can share his LinkedIn URL with you, or we can
Yeah,
make it happen because it'll be in the show notes.
yeah,
So
for
on
sure.
YouTube,
I think one of the again bringing it all back to TRiBL, right? I think
right?
with what we are building, this is all about stitching together that global diaspora,
Yeah.
and ultimately our network of wallets to enable that. So when someone creates an investor club or creates a syndicate in TRiBL, someone in South America, someone in Africa, someone in the UK could all easily activate their wallet and join that same investor club. So now,
Right.
our communities and our ultimately the commerce between our communities will now have no boundaries.
See, and that's what we want for our planet. That's
Yeah.
why this whole vision of yours gave me goosebumps. The minute you said it, I went, oh, I feel what you went through when you had that great idea. So you stay strong on this. How have you been funding this? Because you started off, you saw that okay, I can't afford a dev team right now, so I'm going to have to do some side hustling. I'm going to have to find other ways to fund this along the way. Talk a little bit about your capital journey and how you've kept the doors open, so to speak, over the years.
Yeah, who knows?
Right.
That's my first answer.
Because I mean,
Um,
Techstars, it was supposed to give you a lift. It's supposed to help introduce you to folks who would want to invest in your business. What other ways has the journey been for you as far as non-dilutive capital or equity?
yeah, for sure. Like I said initially, we were bootstrapping it. We were taking revenue that we were making in another business and looking for it. Um, so I got distracted by Ruth's message. Yes, yes. Thank you, Ruth. I appreciate that. Nigerian too. I love it. I love it.
Yay!
Um, so we were taking revenue that we were making in other businesses. Instead of paying ourselves, we would just use that to start building our
Yeah.
product, kind of positioning ourselves like a venture studio.
Yep.
Ultimately, obviously, we went through Techstars, and while we didn't get as much out of Techstars as we wanted to, we were able to get connected to a few angels who ended up participating in our rounds.
Excellent.
I really like to emphasize that because when the pandemic started and we had a lot of VCs pull out at the time, and we had an angel from Techstars who ultimately provided the capital to keep us going at that time, which was key.
Excellent. See, this is why I'm a huge fan of angel investors, especially operator angel
Yeah,
investors, right?
yeah,
Because they
for
know what
sure.
you're going
For
through.
sure, for sure. And I think the biggest lesson I've learned in this journey is you know, early on, I think that while I was appreciative of some of the smaller checks that we were getting, I wasn't as appreciative as I should have been. And what I've learned over the years is those small checks are really what keep you alive as a business, and give you the opportunity to not only continue to build, but ultimately get to that place where you do land the big check. And so we've raised about $750,000 to date from about 35 to 40 investors, family and friends, angels, VC, smaller VC checks. And now we are in the midst of raising a seed round. Have some strong investors who are committed to participate as well, and are just trying
Excellent.
to secure our lead investor now, so
Okay.
that we can scale out to our next phase of growth.
Okay, so folks, if you're an investor tuning in, you know how to reach Ikechi, or if you know an investor who has an appetite, I have a couple in mind already.
Yep.
This is what we like to do at the Startup Live community, is to add wind to our founders' sales, our startups that we amplify here. So that's so important. And I also just want to thank you so much for your transparency and honesty around the funding, because you're absolutely right. Those small checks can really have a huge impact.
Yeah.
And while so much of the mythology
Small
around,
checks.
yeah, well, for us, it'd be like, oh, I don't even have credit cards that have that kind of a balance. But the mythology of entrepreneurship can be that you need to go out for millions. And
Yep.
folks, every day you're moving your business forward closer and closer. Think about MailChimp. They never took money other than family and friends, and they kept a lean machine, and they kept creating value within the company to help propel it forward. And Intuit bought it for over $1 billion, $12 billion, I think, a year or two ago. So, things can happen like that. But even if you're a small company trying to just get to maybe 5 million or 10 million in valuation or sales, every dime can help. It's who you're bringing on, who's writing that check. That is so important. So thank you for that wisdom. I bet you have helped someone right there who's listening to this at a later date going, you know what? I do need to value those smaller checks.
Yeah, it's important. Don't be too hard headed about it. I know, the problem is like, you're still stressed when you collect the small checks because you're like, well, I still got to figure out how to make payroll next month or 2 months from now, right? And everyone's dying for that like breathing room of like having a year to 18 months of capital just sitting in the bank. That's something we've never had, and so I've had to just get used with to the process.
That's right.
And it's extremely challenging, but ultimately, more people who look like me are getting into positions of being able to fund companies, which is definitely a positive. Though we still have much more work to do.
Yes, and we're seeing.
Things go.
Yeah. We're seeing more of that, of course. I get very frustrated when I hear the venture capital folks talking about, well, I've already met my minority investment quotient for the year, and I just want to go and slap them across the face. That should not be a thing, folks. It should be, are you going to make money? Yes. The data shows you invest in women founders, you invest in people of color founders. They are nailing it. All right. And they're delivering it. So speaking of revenue, what is your revenue model? How do you monetize a platform like this?
Yeah, for sure. We monetize through transaction fees. So anytime someone makes a payment in TRiBL, whether joining a pool or trading crypto, TRiBL takes home some level of revenue.
Okay. Got it. There you go. And because that's important too, as you start to build and you get more people on board. For example, I know I saw Ansela here say, I just joined TRiBL. This is phenomenal.
Hey, love it. Let's go.
Let's go is right.
We put our foot in this one. We put our foot in this for sure.
That's what it's about. So
make sure you activate your wallet. Let me know if there's any issues.
Yay. See, in this whole wallet, I love that visualization. And so as you've built out the team and all, how do you educate? People want to get involved. They love this idea of frictionless money, moving the money and pooling the money and investment clubs. Oh my gosh, how much fun would that be to pool your money and be able to buy more of something as a group? How do you educate your customers? Do you have an online feature, or do you have webinar? I don't know. What does that look like in making sure that you've educated folks to take advantage of what you're offering?
Yeah, no, great question. And something that we're constantly working on, right? I think the key themes that we really like to emphasize here at TRiBL are like building community, fractionalizing ownership, and building wealth as a collective.
Yeah.
And you think about use cases like, hey, purchasing a house, for example, and maybe you as an individual don't have enough purchasing power to go and buy the house that potentially you're looking for, but ultimately by being able to pool with a group or with a collective, now you all can now go in on that house together. And I think
Nice.
institutionally, there are a lot of opportunities to build wealth that require a certain minimum check size in order just to get in,
That's right.
which severely impacts Black and Brown communities again, because it's like we don't have access to that.
100%.
So not only are we trying to crowdsource capital, but we're trying to crowdsource access. We're trying to crowdsource knowledge by leveraging the person who does get into the room and empowering them by building a community around them that has their own level of capital that they're able to contribute and enable that person to then go invest into bigger opportunities.
And I'm also seeing events, where you can get community together in different locations,
Yep.
with masks, without,
Yeah.
but, online certainly, but it'd be fun, to get together and say, hey, I was checking this idea out, just like, the traditional way of doing investment pools. What do you folks think about this idea? I'm thinking this might, okay. There's just so much community and so much fun that you can have together, talking
sure.
about the different experiences, to making dreams come true, but more importantly, going back to the Black Wall Street folks, this group in Kansas, right?
Is in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but they
Tulsa,
were
Oklahoma.
towns
Yes.
everywhere that were doing.
Yeah. To be burned to the ground because they had the audacity to want to have generational wealth. No, it's time all folks can have generational wealth when you get focused and finding also the best pathways. And this is what TRiBL is doing a brilliant job at.
Yep.
And, as I've read up on everything that Ikechi and the team are doing
Yep.
to make this happen. And of course, the feeling of the diaspora coming together to create this and lift each other up in this way is so important. And it is the why that you are putting to work every single day, Ikechi, so that even though you might not have the investor dollars today, you will find those because you are a driven and cursed by ambition.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yay.
to your point, events are going to be major.
Yeah.
We will be starting pool parties here, as we like to call them, pool parties.
Oh my gosh, do I love that name, something fierce.
Yeah, to launch various investor clubs and syndicates. So in-person events are coming. Again, working with our budget, getting this round finished out is my current focus. So we have the capital to really focus on marketing, but yes, events are going to be key.
Yeah, I know. I just love that. All right. So let's talk about what success looks like for you. If it's a feeling, it's an outcome, you've shared your wonderful vision with us, but I want to make sure how you are measuring that success, because the entrepreneurship mythology sometimes has founders going outside themselves and using someone else's measuring tape. What does success look like for you?
Re-ask the question.
Yeah. So, you're looking there and you go, okay, today success looks like raising some capital and feeling like I'm reaching a certain number of people. In a year, success may look like something different. But for many founders, Ikechi, they see success being what other people say success is for them.
Yeah.
And it becomes challenging. So I'd like to bring this up because it's a great conversation to have around, well, if I raise so many millions, I'm a success. Well, no, maybe if I've served this many people, I am a success. Or I kept a business alive, I'm a success. It's sometimes it's a feeling that you really are doing your best. And that's what success looks like. And of course, having parents as entrepreneurs, I'm sure you learned a lot about not to look outside for validation, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's a tough process, and it's a great question, but you really learn throughout the journey to really hone in on what success looks like today, and a year from now specifically versus your big picture, because people think you're crazy when you tell them yo, our big picture is we want to get 1 billion people into our app. So today we like to talk about success as we want to get our first 10,000 wallets activated and $10 million pooled across our platform.
Perfect. I love that. Everybody take that in. We're going to hold that vision right there. How many users again? How many downloads? 10,000?
10,000
wallets opened.
And $10 million pooled.
Okay, there we go.
Yep.
Putting it out there.
Yeah.
And no one succeeds alone, right? I mean,
Oh,
yeah, I
no
keep
doubt.
hearing, Rihanna, they just said a self-made woman. She'll be the first to say, hey, I didn't just wake up one day in the Caribbean and say, here I am, right? No, she had help along the way. Who added wind to your sails?
Um, First, I want to call out my family,
Yay,
even though
family.
they're super hard on me all the time. My family has always believed in me. They've always supported me. They've invested in my company themselves. Um,
Excellent.
some of my closest childhood friends have actually worked on the company with me. A good friend of mine, Jordan, who works at Meta, actually. Uh, Another good friend of mine who's deep into the startup and venture capital space, who I've known for half my life. Um,
Oh,
and then ultimately, the people who have believed in our vision as we've just been building community over the years. So, um, not just people who are helping me professionally, but people who have built relationships and friendships with me, have helped keep me in a good as mentally sane as possible. And I think it's really important to build your tribe, right? Like with TRiBL, right? Building your tribe is really key because there's a lot of ups and downs. As a founder, every day can take you onto a roller coaster. I just had a day where it was all bad for the first 5 to 6 hours, and the last 3 hours were amazing. And it's like you laugh at yourself at the end of the day because you're like, you go through such a range of emotions, and you just got to find that ability to stay confident in yourself. And your tribe really helps you do that.
oh my gosh. Outstanding advice. That will be the video snippet, I am sure. I'll be sharing everywhere.
Yeah.
It's true. It really is. And so as you are, and that, first 6 hours were terrible and the last two were amazing. As you go through the mindset challenges, and you've had parents who've been able to model how they've kept their mindset
Yeah.
strong. What's a hack that you could share with folks that would really help them as they go through a time where they're just feeling hashtag why bother?
Well stated. Well, again, my parents were entrepreneurs, so I got to watch them go through it, and I've seen them go through highs and lows, extremely stressful situations, and ultimately make it to their goals. Um, I'm a very spiritual person, so prayer is key in all of this. Talking to God, um, letting him, her know exactly what it is that you're looking to get out of this,
Yeah.
and what you are putting into it, what you're sacrificing in the midst of it all. And then finally, trying to do a better job of just giving yourself 2 to 3 things to knock out each and every day. So at the end of the day, you can say, like, you feel accomplished, right? Put those 2 to 3 things on the whiteboard. They can be small tasks, they can be big tasks, but ultimately, you want to try to knock 2 to 3 things out that you intentionally chose to that day, while making your incremental steps towards progress in other areas of your business, and that helps you stay solid. Oh, working out, and don't forget therapy. Working out and therapy. Make sure you mix those in as well. Don't ignore the therapy piece; it's major.
It's key, and it can be peer support, everybody. But I just want to say, I'm loving this founder journey advice here. Let's go for it. Especially, folks, what Ikechi said about doing 1 or 2 things that you can feel really good about.
Yeah, yeah,
It's so important. Like, I accomplished that today.
yeah,
Sometimes you just want to go into the bathroom with a toothbrush and scrub it down because it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you can go,
yeah,
there we go, clean
yeah,
bathroom.
yep. And as a founder, you just work, right? So it's like sometimes you don't remember what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
But when you write things down and then you like complete that task, right, then you have a better understanding. And I love what you said about like having peers that you can talk to as
Yes.
well. I have a call every Saturday with the founder, and we use that kind of as like our own CEO founder therapy, right? Where it's
Right?
like, oh, the problems I'm experiencing, I'm not alone on, right? And being able to lean on other people going through experiences and getting advice on how they approached it is also major, major key.
Absolutely key. Accomplishing versus putting out fires, Richard O says. So true.
Yeah,
Hey, you know what I'd like to do? I'm just going to do a quick screen share because I'd like to give away a book today.
cool.
And we have this wonderful tool here on StreamYard, the giveaway tool. I'm going to bring this up. And everybody can see that here. Okay, I'm going to draw because I'm going to give away Arlen's book today because,
Oh, love it. Shout
you
out
know,
Arlen.
yeah, Ikechi, you know, you're
Inspiration
singing
for us all.
exactly. And I think what you've been hitting on today is really something that's so important. So I'm going to click on the draw button and we'll see who gets to be the winner. Ruth, there you go. I got to draw again though because she works here. So, but you are a winner and we love you so much. We're going to I get to draw again. That's another feature that we love.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, right? And again, well, then Ruth, I got to tell you, it was meant to be. Yay, Ruth!
Oh, that's funny.
You get the book, goddess. All right. We love giving away Arlen's book. You know, I keep it behind me all the time. Folks, if you've not read this, get it, borrow it, reach out to me. If you can't afford it, I'll get you a copy. It is so important for the founder journey. You can do anything after you read Arlen's book because she had no business doing what she did. And when you hear her origin story, it's amazing. So, Ikechi, any last words of advice, any way that we can open up the doors for you, add wind to your sails before I pop you into the green room?
No, I mean, to my founders, I know you guys are going through it out there. And so I'm big on supporting founders. Um, believe in yourself, trust your gut, and build good people. I mean, build community. That's what it all comes down to. Surround yourself with great people.
Build community and surround yourself with great people. Period. End of story. You heard it here. Yay. And Ansel says, yay, Ruth, for you. I agree 100% on that. Ikechi, thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your vision and your insights with folks. I know you added value to so many founder journeys today. Thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you for having me again.
Oh, love it. I'm going to pop you in the green room, do a quick wrap up. Okay, Stick around so I can give you a big virtual hug.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
Hey, everyone. We learned so much from Ikechi today and his wonderful journey. And we also upped our cryptocurrency and NFT and digital wallet knowledge today. So that to me is so important. And we, had amazing insights by this gentleman's particular vision and mission for his business. So I love that something fair. So let me tell you who's coming up on the show next. It's Friday, July 15th at 12 p.m. And we're chatting with Eli Angoat, founder of The Best Notary. And Eli has spent the last decade running The Best Notary and fulfilling over 60,000 successful notary appointments while building a network of top performing notaries around the country. And we're going to learn a lot from Eli and be inspired by his vision and mission, because you have to constantly be reiterating and upping your game as a founder. Just because you've had some initial success, markets change, technology changes, and Eli's going to share with us how he has moved his business forward into this century, but also into the needs of his customers today. So I'm so grateful you all tuned in. And thank you to Jose for swinging by. And yay, I'm so glad you found it insightful, Ansela. And I can't wait to be connected with all of you on LinkedIn. And until next time, I'm wishing you a delicious day everywhere you glow. Remember, you are smart enough, you're strong enough, and you've got this. I'll see you next time. Cheers.